What's up? Welcome back to the Relationship School podcast. I'm your host, Jayson.
And I'm Ellen.
And we're here to say what's up. And thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing.
Thanks for being here, being interested in relationships and learning and growth.
Yeah, and today we want to talk about just the stress that we're all feeling. I think it's time to touch back in on COVID.
Yes.
And our collective stress and fear that we feel. And maybe offer a few suggestions, maybe at the end, things that people could do.
Yeah.
Because why would you create a podcast if you didn't have answers for people?
We have answers.
Yes, but we don't really know what the hell we're talking about.
We're navigating a lot as well,
Yeah.
doing our own journeys over here. So, but I think today, what's just up is this, wow, we're almost 2 years in to the pandemic and all the ways it's changed our society, our day-to-day lives. And it's brought things to the surface. It's brought a lot of social issues to the surface, relationship problems, mental health issues.
Yeah, which you could say is a good thing. We want things on the surface, but it's also like, man, it's taking its toll, on people.
Yes, yeah.
We're already so stressed and we all have so much going on. And then to add another layer is, it's a lot to hold. As parents, as partners, as business owners, as community members.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know I personally have seen a couple friends go through divorce. It seemed like COVID pushed their issues, the stress of that kind of pushed things to the surface, which again, I think is a good thing ultimately for the few partnerships I'm thinking of right now. Ultimately a good thing, but man, it's very hard, extremely difficult to navigate. Yeah, and then businesses closing and just other friends who've lost things. And it's hard.
Yeah, there's that. And then I'm also thinking today of all the kids, teenagers, maybe especially, or kids in, transitional life experiences like starting first grade or kindergarten or graduating high school or, college and, or brand, new families, like having a baby in COVID and just how all those kids' lives have been impacted by this.
Yeah.
And, of course, there's a huge range of ways it's been impacted, but we also know that not just kids, but kids and humans in general are also dealing with more anxiety and depression than ever. That's kind of where this came from for me today. Is like the humans are we are really struggling.
We are. On
a lot of levels.
Yeah, and I think on you could look around at yourself or your community and you could also see resiliency, right? You could see people just trucking along with their lives or kids just going to school with masks or, you could see also that, wow, it's amazing that we haven't buckled here. But I look around and I see people trucking along and making the most of it. And I think that's a testament to how resilient our species is.
Yes.
Just, wow. And we could zero in and zoom in on places where we're so not resilient. Right now, like school getting closed the other day because
we get snow days for a couple inches of snow.
We're not very resilient there, guys.
But they're trying to keep people off roads that aren't plowed. Yes.
Yeah, and yet I think the area I'm most concerned about is children and particularly teenagers for a couple reasons. One is kids are wearing masks, right? Young people and teenagers, let's say. Suicide rates are going up, apparently, with teenagers. I was just on a call this morning, a group call where the dad was saying, my daughter is crying, like just in the kitchen. She just has days where she's so anxious and just crying about the situation, which is like her life. and not knowing, just being afraid of what's going to happen next and where is this all going, and just the fears of, Armageddon or whatever she's afraid of. Just the not knowing and feeling stressed, and then feeling alone in her experience and not getting to see her friends, and then only being on a phone to see her friends, and the kind of problematic nature of that. It's just like, dude.
It's enormous. And then if we think about what's happening in their brains during adolescence, like I was on a call this morning too, an amazing kind of book club that I'm part of, and we were just kind of diving into this neuroscience, just all the new developments ongoing, but just what's happening in the adolescent brain and how there's such rewiring and rebuilding and there's construction going on in the brain that's significant and important. And the way the demands on teenagers' lives right now and on their mental and emotional health, and the way they're interacting, primarily through screens a lot of the time, or just the current situation, of course, with the pandemic. Like, I know we're all doing the best we can, but it's really not the kind of nourishment that an adolescent brain needs at all.
Right. And they're so vulnerable to addictions and things that actually really kind of have long-term consequences on their brain if they're doing drugs or alcohol, or they're looking at their phone all day. Yeah,
like they're just really vulnerable to seeking like reward, dopaminergic experiences, which are like this reward circuit in the brain, and they're extremely kind of geared towards that. And then I just feel like the way phones and technology and social media is set up is very, really preys on that. And of course it leads nowhere. It leads nowhere nourishing or supportive. And so, that's a huge concern. And then also just adults, any adult who's isolated or any adult who's under stress, already, which is a lot of us. And, yes, we are resilient and we are adapting, and we're also, there's a price we're paying, and we don't really know what that is yet.
We kind of don't know it.
Yeah. And I don't want to be like doom and gloom, but I'm a little like, I want us like to not fall asleep around, okay, we're adapting and there's a cost somewhere potentially, and to be on the lookout for that. I think right now the cost is in like our mental emotional health. I mean, that's where I focus. So of course I see that, and I see us really just struggling there as a species in terms of how we're handling stress, how we're behaving, how we're treating each other, how we're navigating that, it's not great. We're not doing great.
We're not. And I want to hang out with the doom and gloom a little longer.
Okay.
If that's okay?
No, I can.
Just to kind of remind us all of the problem here. So if we just look at the service industry, for example, restaurants like here in Boulder, and I've heard elsewhere all over the place, where it's hard to get people to do restaurant jobs. And a lot of restaurants have closed because they can't find staff, or the chef is coming out and actually like waiting on tables. And then that's one issue of like
just service.
Okay, our economy is really weird right now because maybe people are getting checks and they don't want a job, or there's a lot of maybe variables here. I've read a few articles on this, but there's the way people treat each other at the restaurant. I was listening to NPR recently, and the whole article was about, or the whole news thing was about how beat up servers are getting in restaurants because people are on edge, because people are irritable, people are frustrated, people are they're taking their kind of aggression, irritation, triggers out on just
random innocent
bystanders
people
who are just trying to help, serve a meal, for example. Yeah. And so I think there's just a lot of challenges going on right now. And I'm just thinking
about the road rage.
Yeah, you had a road rage incident recently.
I have had more and more, I think, in the last year or two, like more road rage situations where I'm not road raging, but someone's road raging on me.
Yeah.
And it has culminated in last week with someone like treating me in a way that I can't imagine. I just have no idea, like, how horrible is that person's life that they would treat me that way for what they perceived was a driving error, which was, I promise you, if I even made a mistake, it was extremely minor. But
yeah, you're a very good driver.
Just the level of rage that I think people are just moving around the world with right now it feels to me in my communities, in my experience in life, like very unprecedented. Mm-hmm. And of deep concern, because like I think of servers or grocery store clerks or like people who are not remotely responsible for what we're having to deal with, who are having to field everyone else's agitation, upset, and of course people don't want those jobs right now because they're not only maybe putting themselves at risk that doesn't make sense, but it's also like, and you're dealing with people that are taking all their shit out on you too. Yeah. And mostly we see that on social media where we aren't face to face and people are saying and behaving and treating people in horrible ways that really should have us all pause and think. But most of us, I mean, a lot of people are not doing that. But then it's also happening face to face too. Like the way this man was screaming and yelling at me the other day and the things he was saying to me were absolutely like, just, it kind of blew my mind what I experienced. And yeah, it's a concern.
It's a concern. There's a lot of concerns here. And one of the primary ways we can feel okay is to see each other's face and to be in person together. Mm-hmm. So we're going to take it out on someone at the restaurant, but if we know how to connect and we have the capacity to listen to other people, if we can not get stuck in a fundamentalist position and take a hard line side and make someone else wrong, if we have these just basic capacities, man, we can be such a resource to other people. And I just think of children who can't see the teacher's face learning and the teacher can't see the full face of the child in classrooms. These kinds of things.
We can't see what's happening. We can't see what's happening. And all those capacities are already compromised under stress. Like those kinds of higher level capacities, like compassion, empathy, thinking of someone else while we're advocating for ourselves, being thoughtful, slowing down, like all of that's harder to do under stress. And I just think we're under tremendous stress. And that's not a revelation. Yeah. And we've had to do things that are hard to try to protect and look out for others in our healthcare system and all of that. And it's just, it feels still really big, even though I know there is potentially we might see some of this waning soon. Yeah. Some of what we're having to navigate. But there's going to be a process to come out.
Yeah. And I think what we're sort of moving towards in this conversation right now is a pro-relationship stance and position around, one thing that can be a resource for us right now is each other and having the ability to not so much take a side, but to just be there for the people you care about. And notice when you get in your rigid position about politics or masks or vaccines or the healthcare system or climate change, whatever your thing is. Obviously, because this is a relationship podcast, we're saying we can meet this moment together and by being kind.
I know.
By being relationally sensitive. By listening maybe a little more delicately than before or a little more ferociously than before. Where other people, in the midst of their chaos, confusion, anger, stress, we become and can become a resource. So I think that's just what I want to offer here is because we're not like taking a position here on this podcast about what you should do about any of that.
Yeah.
We're coming in because a lot of those positions are very pro-self, kind of me, myself, and I. And we're saying, can you listen actually to both sides? Can you bring in a bigger capacity to be there, even if you disagree with someone. It's going to be your partner or your neighbor.
Yeah. And it's, again, harder to do under stress.
Yeah.
We're just biologically predispositioned to be more pro-self, think more about ourselves, defend ourselves, protect ourselves under stress. Even when we may not be under any threat, we might perceive that we are, and so, and I want to just reiterate too, how important, how we treat each other matters more than anything right now. I mean, how we treat the people in our home and how we treat the people we don't even know that we may never meet even. I'm like social media or the server at a cafe, the driver who made a mistake or not. Who made a mistake. We've all made driving mistakes. How we treat each other could have a huge impact on the next moment, on how we feel about ourselves and also how people feel around us. And we all need each other's help right now. Like, we need to see kinder eyes, like warmer smiles if you don't have your mask on. Like, we need that. Our nervous systems need that. And I mean, our kids and our partners very, very, very much need that from us. Yeah.
And I was just thinking as you were talking about, like, I had an incident recently where I was on hold on a call, and I found myself treating the person just that was doing their job. I was treating them poorly because I was so annoyed. And I felt entitled to, like, take it out on them or something, as if they're the problem. And it's that kind of shit that, like, we have to really watch in ourselves. Yeah. Because how many times are we on hold with the insurance company or your cell phone company or whoever it is, and you get a bot or you have to, like, wait 20 minutes to talk to a human being? I know, it's frustrating. I hear you. And does that give us the right to take it out on take our unpent up aggression and irritation about this whole situation out on someone else? No, it doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey there, do you want to become a much better communicator? Do you want to build a secure relationship? And do you want to accept yourself more? If you want those three things, come join our Relationship Mastery course. This course is unreal, okay? 9-month journey, deep dive into you, how relationships work, and how to do them well. Check it out from one of our past graduates, Casey.
As an entrepreneur, I face a lot of my time looking at myself and what I'm doing and how to improve my business. And I was feeling like I was hitting walls personally and professionally. And those walls weren't like skills, like business skills. They were like interpersonal issues. They were the things that were keeping me up at night. It was the frustration that I felt. It was sweating. It was the tension. And it was like not knowing this stuff. So I enrolled in Deeper 9 months ago and just kind of had my life dramatically shifted. I got in touch with myself in a way that I've never been in touch with myself before. My whole life I've been striving and working and building and growing, but all of those things felt like exterior and none of it felt interior. Deeper broke that shell open, and it feels like I'm like peeling apart this armor that I've built to get an understanding of who I am, understanding that these emotions I felt were anxiety, and I could find where that anxiety lives in my body and what to do with it and how to see the triggers in my life that cause it and create space between those triggering events and the actual emotion. Jayson talks about this core human split between who I am and who I act as in order to get love and care and attachment. And it's about closing that gap. And through Deeper, I learned skills and tools to apply to that part of me, tools that help my marriage. Our arguments are short-lived. We resolve them quickly. To say it's been life-changing feels trite, but I don't know how else to describe this and how powerful it is. I'm just feeling more secure in who I am and what I'm doing, and how that reflects in business is that I'm establishing better boundaries to support myself. I'm not feeling as emotional around the ups and downs of business, which has been huge for my well-being. It's just like touching to be around people that care, that want to be part of the conversation and support me and push me along. You can't change your life in 2 days. When I started going to the gym, it's not like I got fit in a weekend. 9 months is a pretty solid course. I don't know anyone else. And I've looked, right? I've gone through live events and audio programs and read books and attended conferences, and no one has this education that Jayson has. Jayson offers a step-by-step approach that helped me see who I am and how I show up and why I show up that way, and give me the choice to change my behaviors based on changing my values, change my relationship by creating new agreements, and have the relationship that I want.
All right, Casey and Adelaide, his wife, now they have a baby. Their marriage is doing awesome because they really applied themselves in this course. Go to relationshipschool.com/relationship mastery if you want in on the action. I also want to say, you've had if you want to talk about this, just the kind of demand for therapists.
Oh, yeah.
Doctors, nurses,
right.
Coaches even.
Yeah.
Just how kind of inundated people are.
Yeah.
It's just part of the healthcare system of more and more young people are, going to therapy, which we could say is a good thing. But it's also like, is that a good thing that more teens are anxious and feeling suicidal than ever? I don't know.
Right.
Probably not. It's good that we have people to look after them and someone to listen to them, but not good that we're seeing a spike in all these mental health problems.
And such a stress on mental health providers. Like I was saying to you this morning, that before COVID, I'd never really had a wait list. I had a pretty small private practice and it was just always kind of balanced. And for the last 2 years, I've had a wait list and, have been asked for more referrals than ever. And everyone's full. Everyone's full. We are maxed as mental health providers for lots of different populations. And like you're saying, I want people to seek therapy. I think everyone should have it. And I think what we're seeing now from the therapist and coach side is that people are coming in such worse shape, in such worse condition, under so much more stress. People need so much more. Yeah. People's clients are in much more crisis. Teens, especially, are needing so much more. It's really a lot. And again, I think probably most of the listeners are aware of this, but it is, it's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere right now. And I think we really have to think about how we're treating each other, just everyone that we come into contact with. And what kind of world are we asking our kids to step into? Are we actually creating the world that we think is good for them? A lot of us would say no, but are we helping them navigate that? Are we being the resources they need? I think teenagers, I don't know, just need a lot more guidance and support and help with what they're navigating. And I think parents probably need that too, because it's all new to us too. And we need each other's help, support, and to really think about what we're saying yes to and what our boundaries are and what our values are. I just feel like we could all be served by revisiting those kinds of things. Yeah. Yeah. So maybe you could reflect right now on kind of what matters most to you. And hopefully you've been doing this already. And I want to insert, probably Ellen and I both want to insert something we think matters to you because you're listening to this podcast, which is the quality of the relationships you have at home in particular. And if you live alone, your closest person, whether that's in another state or country or, someone in your town, you have a close friend perhaps. Again, it's am I behaving in a way that, and am I learning the skills and capacities to be a resource for others? And then am I advocating for when I'm really hurting, do I have people around me that can emotionally, psychologically support me? What is your relational house look like in your life? And we're saying put a lot of attention on that because at the end of the day, your house could go away. You could lose a lot of money. Your health could, start to go south, but your relationships stay. And it's, back to the Harvard study of, they found that
the quality of your relationships is really what leads to a well-lived life and life satisfaction over time, and less mental health problems, less addictions, less problems, essentially. So we're encouraging you to create that for yourself. And some of you, thank you, are already doing that because you're in courses like Relationship Mastery, or you're taking another course from us here at the Relationship School, great, or somewhere else, awesome, or you're in therapy and you feel resourced, or you're getting a coach, great. But please keep putting attention on that area of your life, because I think that's what's going to help you weather whatever's next and whatever's coming.
Right. And help you as an individual and help the people you love, because we are doing it together. We're all in this together. And when we pretend we're not, and we pretend that something else is going on, we're just really mistaken. And we are social animals who rely on each other very, very much. And we can either help each other or bring each other down. It kind of comes back to something like that.
Yeah.
And it's easiest to do, I think, with the people in our home that we love the most. And it can be hard, but it's hopefully you're the most on board for that. And then to extend it out into the world as well. That sense that we have to take care of each other, and everyone is going through something difficult right now. And probably isn't at their best. And can we all just try to slow down and use the capacities we do have. We do have them, even though we don't always use them, but we do have them to think of not only ourselves, but also others, and how we can together actually create a more supportive environment for whatever's going on.
Yeah, and I just want to share one thing I'm working on over here, which perhaps you're already doing this, and for me, I'm a little slow. So I'm creating more in-person social connection with my friends. So that could be a coffee date. Usually it looks like a walk outside, because I'm inside a lot. And it's really good for me to go on a walk with one of my friends. And I've been doing that more, and I'm prioritizing it more. And I could easily make the excuse of how busy I am, or I don't have time, or I'd rather whatever. And it's been really good for me. Just these little touch-ins with my friends for an hour power walk or a 2-hour hike in person, because I didn't do that for a long time during COVID.
Yeah.
I was our men's group met over Zoom.
Right.
Now we're meeting in person.
Yeah.
And it feels so good. And in someone's home, which is so nice to be in someone's home together in person.
Yeah.
And then, I'm maybe going to throw a party this summer and in person.
What are those?
What is that? In-person party?
How do you even
outside?
do that?
Holy shit. Yeah. And we're planning an in-person relationship school event with our coaches in June. It's like I can just feel the longing to gather and be together, not only one-on-one, but in groups. And for some of you, it's going to be seeing concerts or whatever your thing is. But yeah, I just want to encourage people to prioritize those couple of relationships and actually do the hour-long drive to see them.
Yeah.
Zoom isn't as nourishing as an in-person connection. No. You know that.
It doesn't.
So make the effort, put in the effort to see your closest people in person. I just want to keep advocating for that. It's really been good for me, and I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah, I love that you're doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I'll just add one piece of just coming back to what's most important. Some days every day I'm like, okay, what are the priorities for me in my values? That, because I feel like I have so much coming at me still, and a lot of different demands, and my life feels very full. And anyway, it helps me to kind of keep coming back to, okay, what's most important to me? What are my priorities on any given day, whatever's going on? It's really, my priorities are the well-being of myself and the people I love. That's really what I come back to. And my well-being very much supports the people I love's well-being, and it's just, we're in this soup together, and then I'm able to better be of service when I really have recognized that that's when I put my energy there and make sure that's being tended to, I can do a lot more, and I can face a lot more, and make sure I don't lose sense of what I need to feel good about in my life in order to do all that's being asked of me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Totally. Yeah, and I see you doing that, and it feels really good to be on the receiving end of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes you're stressed.
Yeah,
and you can't.
it's a daily situation.
Yeah, daily practice.
Like, what's important? Yeah, my nervous system not being freaked out. That is definitely important.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And connection is a huge part of that. Me feeling connected to the people I love is a huge part of me feeling okay. It's beyond being even a two-way street. I'm like, this is just like a circular experience of humanity where we all are affecting each other.
Yeah.
And we can all be helping each other manage this and get through this without paying a high price in areas that really are important to us.
Completely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we could probably go on. There's more that we could say, but maybe this is a good stopping place.
Yeah, it's probably enough.
Yeah. Maybe comment if you see this on YouTube or somewhere else. Yeah, let
us know
what you're doing to resource yourself.
What you're doing to resource yourself, what you're, how you're doing out there, really.
Yeah, and, shameless plug here, we have lots of resources here at the Relationship School. Mm-hmm. If you're feeling disconnected, if you're feeling alone, if you're feeling, just really anxious, depressed, whatever. If
your relationships are not in a good spot. Not in a good place.
Yeah. We have classes you can take by yourself. We have classes you can take as a couple. We have coaching, coaches that could be in support to you one-on-one. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of resources here. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And thanks again for being a listener and someone who values relationships. Yeah. I imagine you're having an impact on the people around you, and that goes a long way.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Ellen.
Yeah, thank you.
If you're in pain relationally and you need immediate support, our coaches can help you. I've trained almost 100 coaches at this point, relationship coaches that are amazing humans, and they have the chops to help you get through this hard time, this hard moment you're going through. Or if you want to actually hire a coach and have someone in your corner to continue to up-level your communication skills, your listening skills, your conflict skills, these folks are incredible. Okay. So all you need to do is go to relationshipschool.com/MRC. That stands for My Relationship Coach. So relationshipschool.com/MRC. All right. If you want immediate, direct, effective help, check them out. Hey, thanks so much for listening. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Share one of these videos with a friend. We want to help the planet get their act together around relationships, and you are one of them, so thank you.